Here at 6 to a follow-up. A third arrest has now been made in the murder of an East Texas businessman from 8 years ago. KLTV7's Lauren Tier has the new information in what officials say they believe was a murder for hire.
Now, what you may be interested in is there is a third suspect.
Renee P. Garcia joins two other suspects charged with the murder of longtime Longview feed store owner Ronnie Haraney.
There is an arrest warrant that has been issued. He was and has been in federal custody, and he remains in federal custody in federal prison today.
Gregg County Sheriff Maxey Cerliano says he does not know when Garcia will be transported to Gregg County from federal prison in Seagoville, but that they issued the arrest warrant after finding probable cause for his involvement.
Can you give us any information on why Garcia is in federal custody?
All I know is he has outstanding charges out of the Northern District of Texas.
10 agencies are involved in the case, including the Texas Rangers, Longview PD, and the Texas DPS Criminal Investigations Division, along with the Gregg County Sheriff's Office. Several of Haraney's family members were in attendance at today's press conference.
And most importantly, we would like to honor our father, who has and who was an honorable man. And he was proven to be an honorable and courageous man. We just ask that you please respect our privacy as law enforcement continues to move on for justice for our father and our family.
Lauren Tier, KLTV 7 News.
If convicted, the three suspects face up to life in prison.